Hello everyone and welcome to Math Magic. So today I will be helping you with prime and composite numbers. So let's first begin with prime numbers. Okay, so prime numbers are natural numbers or whole numbers that are greater than 1 that can only be divided by itself and 1. So if a prime number was represented as n, it can only be divided by itself or divided by 1. So examples of prime numbers would be 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and so on. So something to note is that no even number is prime unless it is 2, because 2 fits all the criteria for being a prime number since it can only be divided by itself and 1. So something to prove that is true is if you take a even number such as 2x, which this is represented as an even number, it can be divided by 2 to make x, which is a whole number, and that would make it not a prime number because it can be divided by 2 and not only itself and 1. So that is all there is needed to be said about prime numbers. So let's just move ahead to composite numbers. So composite numbers are just the opposite of prime numbers. So these numbers are numbers that can be divided by other numbers and not by itself and 1. So examples of those would be all the even numbers except for 2, and along with numbers that can be divided by any other number besides itself and 1. So it can be divided by 2, 3, 4, and so on. So composite numbers also are completely different from prime numbers. So no prime number is composite or the other way around. So let's try some problems regarding those topics. All right, so let's first begin with the first problem, which asks if 88 is a prime number. So the first thing that we see is that 88 is a even number, and that would automatically make it a composite number, which cannot be a prime number. So the answer would be no in this case. All right, let's move on to the second problem. So this one asks, are all even numbers prime? So all even numbers except for 2 are composite, and the only even number that's prime is 2. So this answer to this question would be no as well. Okay, let's go straight ahead to the third one, which asks, are all odd numbers composite? So some odd numbers are not composite, and an example of that would be 35, which can be divided by both 5 and 7 to get whole numbers, such as this. So that would not make it a prime number, but also if it was asking if it was composite, then there is also 13, and that is a prime number since it can only be divided by itself and 1. So this would also be a no. All right, let's go on to the fourth problem, which asks if 37 is prime or composite. Okay, so 37 is a odd number, so we won't have to worry about it being even, and which would make it a composite number unless it was 2, which it is not. So 37 cannot be divided by any other number besides itself or 1, so that would make it a composite number, not a composite number, since it is prime, because it can only be divided by 37 and 1. Okay, so let's go on to the sixth one, and this one asks if the product of 8 and 15 is prime. So right away we can tell that since it is asking for the product of 8 and 15, it can also be divided by 8 and 15, which would right away make it a composite number. But we can also double check that by seeing 8 times 15, which equals 120, and that is even, which would also right away make it a composite number unless it was 2, which in this case it is not. So this answer would be no. Okay, let's move on to the 7th problem. So this one asks if 43 is a prime number. So 43 cannot be divided by any other number besides itself and 1. And we can check that by seeing what numbers multiply each other in order to get the numbers that are directly above it or under it. So we can see that 6 times 8 equals 48. So 43 would be between those. And same with 7, since 7 times 6 equals 42, and 7 times 70 is 49. So 43 would also be right between those. And we already know that 43 is not a even number, so it would be a prime number. Okay, and let's move on to the last one. Okay, this one asks to select all of the composite numbers. So let's see the first box. That one asks if 18 is a composite number or not. And 18 is a prime number. Well, 18 is an even number, not prime number. And that would make it a composite number right away. And since it's not 2, we can clarify that by seeing if it can divide by 2, which it can when it equals 9. So this would be a composite. And as for 7, 7 cannot divide by anything but self and 1. So this would not be a choice that should be selected. And we'll just see the third choice. That one is 432, and that one is even, since we can divide it by 2, which would make it 216. And also we can also divide that by 4, which makes it 108. So we have 2 of these that make it a composite number. All right, let's see the last choice, and that one is 2. So 2 in this case is even, but it has a special exception because it can only be divided by itself and 1. So this would not be selected because it is a prime number. Or that ends our lesson today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Thank you, and feel free to put any of your questions into the comment section. Thank you.